come along with me as we go on a journey to check out this really awesome, what I think is buttonwood sample that I saw while walking my dogs in Rye Preserve. So immediately it caught my eyes because I saw these growths on them, which I am well aware by now that these are Eriophyid mite galling damage. And if you spend any amount of time with me, you're well aware that I'm obsessed with galls. But let's check out how much biodiversity we find in this. So first of all, you just saw this little spider that fell off. So we had a little spider there. This is a little leaf hopper or plant hopper of some sort. And now we're going to get to the good stuff of looking under the microscope. And I saw lots of goodies on here. It was so exciting. I was sitting alone in the lab and having the time of my life. So right now I'm really just scanning, looking for anything. Alright, so this is the first goodie that I found. It is really, really cool. So this is a fly larva of some kind. I don't know what kind. And honestly, I was debating for a while if it actually was a fly larva. Because the way that I tell is fly larvae, they are worm-like, they have no real head. They just have two tiny little, I don't even know how to describe them, little hooks as their mouth parts, and then technically on their butt they have like little spiracles. So this guy kind of looks like a fly larva, but its little head is a lot longer than I feel like I've seen before. It almost looks like it has a little nose. And on other videos, it looks kind of like it has those pseudo legs that caterpillars have. And so that's kind of weird. The fact that it seems to move a little bit different. And I don't know if that's just because I've never looked at them quite this closely, or if this is just a weird fly larva. But this one is quite unusual, I will admit, and I really love its little snout. You can see there's another little one around here as well, a smaller stage. I don't know what these are. I have to look into it more, I guess, but these are some cool little guys, and this was the first thing I noticed, mainly because they were a lot larger. Oh, and then here you can just see the Eriophyid mite right there. So you can kind of get a size comparison. Those Eriophyid mites, which are the little sausage mites that have two legs, or two pairs of legs, so 4 legs rather than 8 legs or 4 pairs like most mites. And then here I'm just kind of zooming out to again show you a size comparison of just how small all this actually is. Alright, and so this is my next little find. This is a predatory mite. And this is one of the coolest videos I've ever taken in my entire life. So I hope everyone appreciates this. But this is a predatory mite, and you will actually see it feed on some of the Eriophyid mites that are also here. And this is just so awesome. I was about ready to just scream at the microscope when I saw this. So right now I think he might be feeding on one, but it's hard to tell. And I do apologize, I actually had some cracks on my screen protector for my camera, so it has like these dark little cracks on them. So not the best photography, but it's doing something. And you can see it literally just ate one right there. And what it does is it sucks the juices out of them, and then kind of just discards the cuticle or the exoskeleton, and then it continues to feed on some more. So there, just fed on one, and now it's, scouting, perusing, looking for some more, and there, it got another one. It's really annoying me, that's a crack I have in my screen protector. I did eventually take it off, but not for this video. Oh, this is cool. Boop. Got it. And you can actually really kind of see it suck up the juices. I thought it was going to go for the other mite that's right there, but nope, it just passes right over it. And here's another example of it feeding on a mite. And I do apologize that the focus is not perfect, but in my defense, this is very, very, very tiny. And I'm using a dissecting microscope with my phone attached. So not exactly the best equipment, but it's very cool regardless, even just a little bit blurry. I like this part. He just finished a meal and now it's time to clean your mouth parts. Tidy everything up. Wipe your mouth after you've done. And then this is just for like a size comparison. So you can see this is just a tiny fraction of one leaf. And then you have the predatory mite that's right there. And then way in the corner, you have the little Eriophyid mites. So these things are itty bitty. Here's a different predatory mite here, and you can see around it there's a few little Eriophyid mites. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So see if you can count the 5. There's probably more, but you can see the tiny little mites are barely even a snack for these predatory mites. So right here, we're looking at the back end of the fly larva. You can kind of see those two little dots are the two little spiracles or breathing tubes for the fly larva. Now, I don't know about you, and I'm not a mite expert, just a mite enthusiast, but it does look to be like these mites are getting intimate, which is also a very cool thing to be seeing. All right, this is the next guy that we found. This is a minute pirate bug, which is not very minute when you're comparing it to all these mites, but they are typically very, very small. So now I'm just appreciating looking at this little guy up close. It's always fun to see them. And you can see he has his stylet out and it looks like he's, probing around looking for some prey. They are predators, just like the predatory mites. They kind of suck out the fluids again of their prey. I never got a good video of him actually like eating anything. But it looks like right here, it almost appears like it might be sucking the juice of a mite. I just can't see it. So I never got a clear video, but it's still very cool to see. And the size comparison between the minute, emphasis on minute pirate bug and the Eriophyid mites is just kind of crazy because they're so small, but here they are a giant. They are the top of the food chain type of thing. So just really fascinating to see and just to think about that type of thing. Alright, this video is Eriophyid mite galore, so I'm not going to circle any of the mites. I just want you to point out how many you think you can find. So just look for the movement, but I guarantee there's many of them here. And so it's just kind of fun just looking around, seeing how many you can find. And then now again, I'm zooming out. You can kind of see my finger a little bit for size comparison. So there's a predatory mite, and here is again the minute pirate bug giving himself a little clean. So this is also cool to see how he uses his legs to kind of clean off his wings and everything. So if you have kids or anything, tell them they gotta take a bath or, rub-a-dub-dub like a minute pirate bug. Cleaning his stylids. Look at his nice beady red eyes. We're friends now. He was a lot shyer than the predatory mites. The predatory mites just went about their business even though I was staring at them. He was moving around, and then the second I looked at him, he decided just to stop. So he was a little shy, which is understandable. There was this giant monster staring at him while creepily smiling through a microscope. So I sped this clip up so you can really see how many mites there are. It's easier to see the movement when they're moving faster. But there's a ton of mites here. And I'm speeding this clip up because a lot of this is what we've already seen, but you just saw the minute pirate bug. Here's another predatory mite roaming around. And then we see another predatory mite right there. So all of this is happening just so close to each other. There's an Eriophyid mite right in the center. Another one, another one, another one, another one. A million of them. If you can look at them, another one. So it's just kind of crazy how much diversity is going on here in such a small area. Alright, so one of the fly larvae, I was able to kind of scoot it out from its hiding place so I could get a better look at it. And again, this dude is just really cool, but you can see, again, the little mouthpiece is to the right of the screen, and then the butt is on the left. And you'll see in a second, I try to flip it over to kind of show that it has these really almost like pseudo legs that you will see in caterpillars sometimes. So it's very cool, very interesting. Never really seen it before on a fly larva. So it's just really interesting to me. I am fascinated by this little guy. Kind of reminds me of a tardigrade, but like this is actually large to be a tardigrade. So there's my little, try not to poke it, like, destroy it, but I was trying to flip it over to see the little legs. But yeah, you can see them here. And again, size comparison so that we can see how tiny this all is. So wow, that was a roller coaster. I hope you all enjoyed this. I definitely enjoyed it, and if only one other person does, then I guess that's a success.